Hey, Steven, how's it going, man?
Fantastic, man. Another beautiful day. Getting ready to get
Awesome.
this training done in an area that I have zero experience. So I'm super excited about this.
Cool. All right. So this channel is called Flare Forward, and we are thinking about Flare as a main topic, but this is not a one chain to rule them all ecosystem. So I think it's important to learn tools from other ecosystems as well. So today we're going to talk about Xmagnetic, which is a interface that allows you to interact with the XRP ledger. So
And
this is
and I
not
think you said this before, right? So the cool thing about XRP is like all these tools, they interact with the ledger itself versus interacting with them. So they are just an access point, correct?
correct. Yeah, we will see. We're going to talk about Magnetic, and then I'll open XP Market, and you'll see that the liquidity that we put in this pool is going to be available in the other place as well. So that's a good thing, that you're not interacting with a smart contract, but you're depositing liquidity in the protocol level. So that's one of the advantages that XRP has over other networks.
Gotcha.
All right. So this is xmagnetic.org. I like this one. It's not the only one. There's a few others, but I like this one. I'll tell you why in a minute. So here you have the DEX, and then you can choose here, or you can find for the assets that you want. In this case, we're going to focus on the RLUSD XRP. And if I want to, you can see the price here, and then you can say that I want to sell one XRP for 2.35 RLUSD. This is not part of the tip jar wallet. I'm using my funds for this, but it's fine. I'm happy to show you guys how it works. So then I click place order, and then I need to sign from my wallet, my Shaman wallet. So I scan the QR, I sign the transaction. Okay, so transaction successful. So now I should have 2.35 USD, and I have 21 XRP. So if I wanted, this is a little bit more like a more advanced version. There's also the swap. This one, you have less control of what's going on. And if you don't have the trust line, you can just set it here for any of the assets that you want. Like if I wanted to do bear or whatever, I would need to create the trust line, and then you can interact with that token. And then if I go to AMM, this is a thing that I really like, because this one gives you an APR. The APR is not that exact, because it's depends on the amount of volume and traders that are doing at the time. So the more people are trading, the more fees, and then the higher the APR. But this at least gives you an idea of where you are. So we are going to focus on this pool. I can start it here. So the total value locked is 1.6 million XRP. That's divided between the two of them. So there's almost 800,000 XRP and 1.2 million RLUSD. So if I press here, it opens this page that this is for the AMM. So the total value locked, as you can see, it has been increasing consistently, even though there's ups and downs, but it has been mostly increasing. I can see the price. This is the price of, so this is the price, but it's swapped. It's not how many dollars you get for an XRP, it's how many RLUSD you get for each XRP. That's why it says 0.43. The LP tokens, this is the amount of liquidity in the pool. And then this is the ratio from both assets. This is a pretty cool chart. Okay, so
this is a nice site.
Yeah, this is super nice site.
I've not been to the site.
Yeah, this is a really nice site. I really like it. And then XP Market has other things that I like. I can go back and show you after this. So here I can also swap. I can change the order here. And then if I want to deposit, there's two ways to enter a liquidity pool. One is to enter on both assets, which is the preferable way. But yes and no, because ultimately I swapped and then I entered. But I do have a little bit more control on how I do it if I swap first and then deposit. But you could also enter only in XRP. So if I press 2 XRP, then
is there a higher cost to that possibly at times because of the ratios and stuff?
Yeah, you have less control if you do it like this. Like you're gonna, depending on the liquidity of the pool, you might get a more favorable rate or a least favorable rate. And then when you swap, like if I were to put here and then I'm saying that I'm getting one RLUSD for each XRP, then I wouldn't do it. And once you do it here, you're committed. So I recommend that you enter in a dual here with both. So in this case, I'm going to press max, 2.35 RLUSD, and then that means 1 XRP. I submit. I scan from my wallet. So then if I go back and press my positions, you can see that I'm here. If I were to press withdraw, max, I would get right now the same amount of tokens as I enter, because the price hasn't moved. If the price of XRP were to go up, I would have less XRP and more RLUSD. And if the price were to go down, then I would be converting my stables into more XRP. So
Same principle as the others, as the other LP pools.
Correct. The only difference is that this is always a 50-50, a full range liquidity pool, as opposed to what we have been doing with Spartex, that you can get specific ranges that you want to set.
So much more control over the Flare one than this one. Is that the same with the others? So that's across the board. Nobody can leverage an expert model for the XRPL.
Yeah, right now there's only the 50-50 available, which in a way it makes it easier because then you just enter and then you don't worry too much. So in this case, how I see it is not thinking about how many XRP and how many stables I have. This is more of a $5 entry point here, and that's my position. And that's a different thing that I have as opposed to just holding XRP or just holding stables. So if this is growing by 23% per year, in 5 years, I'm going to be happy that I had this money here. And then if the price goes up or the price goes down, then I'm making fees all along. I mean, I have some memes on XRPL, and then I have it in all of them in the liquidity pool. And my price impact now that the markets are down is much less than if I had just held. And the same applies. If the price pump, you would make less. But I think that overall, as the price went up and the price went down, and then if the price goes back up, I'm making fees. So I don't mind.
Yep. I mean, meme coins are meme coins, right? You might as well just make the money off of whatever money you can make off them, because if you can, that's great. If not, no big deal. I think the one.
Yeah. So that's the risk with it. But like, this is a pretty safe, like RLUSD is not going to rock. So this is a pretty safe bet. And like what I was doing is that every time my XRP meme coins doubled, I would cash out and then enter 50-50 into the pool. That's kind of how I did it. So I mean, I have somewhere between 3 and 10 XRP on each meme coin. It's a gamble. I'm happy to put it there. I wouldn't put more. Like I wouldn't put much of my XRP in there. Correct. Okay. So then if I go, let's do something similar here. If this is XPmarket, if I go to RLUSD, here you can press here and then change and swap. So I can do something different. Let's buy some Shahao, do the same thing. I'll buy 1 XRP of Shahao, confirm. So I'm going to do this just to show you how it's exactly the same thing. Like the interface is a little bit different, but it ultimately is the same thing. And then if I go to AMM, I choose the Shahao. I don't know how to say it. Shahao. So now I have 34 Shahao, and I'm going to enter with 1 XRP, and then deposit. Yeah, make sure you're here in deposit. So right now, confirm deposit. So now if I go here and then I check this again, you'll see how this pool will come up as well. So you see now I have this one, even though I entered through Xmagnetic, it's showing here because like I said, it's on the protocol level, not on a smart contract as opposed to Spartex. Because if you enter a pool on Spartex, then that liquidity is not available on BlazeSwap or Gnosis. So
and that's why Ocean is so important, I think, down the road.
Yeah, but that's an aggregator. That's a different story. That is not the same thing, because it's directing the transactions to, but it's not the same liquidity. So ultimately, there's still fragmentation of liquidity. So if I hear,
what do you mean? Because the way I understood it, like Magnetic would pull some from, certain from Gnosis, certain from Spartex, certain from BlazeSwap. When you were going to exchange rates, and look at all the pools and work to get you the best rates among all the pools. And then it wouldn't pull from all one pool, it's going to pull from a little bit from each one.
Yeah, it's going to find what's the best way, like what's the best path to do the swap in the most efficient way. But ultimately, the liquidity is not in the same place. So
it's pulling from multiple places to accomplish this very similar objective. Where on there, you could operate directly the ledger, so you don't have to have this complex tool.
Correct. Okay, so then if I go here to my portfolio, this is a nice page. This is something that I really like about the XPmarket as opposed to Magnetic, that I can see like an overview of, this is the tokens, this is just the trust lines. I don't really have much money here. And then if I do the AMMs, you can see that both deposits are here, and I can withdraw from here as well. So like I could enter on Magnetic and then withdraw from here.
Is there a spot on here like with the Scepter and everything else where you have like what you've earned?
No. So here, that's the other difference, is that if I go to Spartex and I go here, I can see my fees accruing and I can claim them independently. Here, what's going on is that every time there's a swap, the fees get added to your LP token. So after a year, like if you had 20%, when you withdraw, you would have more funds than you started with, but you cannot control it.
Gotcha.
So
a little less control. So lot less control on the XRPL versus the Flare network.
At the same time, there's much less risk entering a liquidity pool here than on Flare or any of the smart contract.
Because there's no contract. There's no
contract. Correct. And I'm not saying that this is dangerous. I'm just saying that if you are very little risk, like you don't want very little risk, this is probably a better, safer bet for now than this or Uniswap or any other smart contract chain. Like
No, that makes
everything,
sense.
you can have everything.
No. So, there's risk reward basis. So,
Correct.
there's that is, and every time you add something, there's a breakpoint. Hackers can hack something. Quantum computing can change this, right? So, when
Right.
you eliminate each step, you actually make it more secure, but then you lose functionality in some spots.
Correct. So this is the amount of XRP that I have on my wallet. This is the amount of tokens. So if I get the RLUSD plus the Shahao, then I get 4 XRP. And then this is I don't know what this is.
Total
Yeah,
balance.
I'm confused here. Anyways.
Well, because what you have here, that's what's actually available. 20. 4 of it's locked up in an AMM or, a Shahao. So you got 20.22. You have 24.21 there. So it's really just your total wallet value minus your token value.
That's correct. And then here in rewards, if like you can read, but if you're holding their token, which is MPM, and I think if you are on the liquidity pool, then every 24 hours you can claim a little bit of XPM tokens. That's something to check. And then they have the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm kicking myself because I have XPM, just never just sitting in my wallet. I don't think I put it in LP pool.
Yeah, and then you can become an agent and then do certain like tasks and make some money from it. I haven't really used this as much, but it happens. And then you have the notifications. There you go. So yeah, it's a pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty simple. And then coming back to what I was saying before, by understanding and learning with Flare allows me to do this super easy. I don't have to worry because I already understand how all of this works. So even if I haven't used the interface, I can check it out. I think that Anodos is about to do an upgrade to their system. So I'm looking forward to it. But you see, I get 1 XRP pretty much, 2.35 RLUSD. This means that the price went up a little bit of XRP, and that's why I have a little bit less XRP. So I could remove here, and then it would disappear from here and from here as well.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, and then you can trade here. You can choose all the tokens that you want. The ones that you have a trust line come here. If I wanted to do Evernote, yeah, so I can choose here, and then I can scan here and set up a trust line. No, Evernote, I think it's a good project. I don't fully understand it. I would love to learn more, but it looks interesting. I've definitely been keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, same here.
Correct. So yeah, that's it, guys. I think
Awesome,
this is an overview. There's less to do and less to learn on XRPL compared to other chains. But like I've said, if you learn here, then you come here and then you already figure it out super easy.